As a cast member of the hit show Moonshiners, Mike Cockrell's escapades making moonshine have been well documented. A moonshine aficionado and employee of the Tennessee Shine Company, Mike lives in Sevierville, Tenn, and regularly appears on the show alongside Jerry Benson, with whom he works to make moonshine on his own as well. For however many fans know Mike thanks to his escapades as a distiller, not as many may be aware of the intrinsic details of his personal life. So, who is Mike's wife, and what do we know about his life outside of Moonshiners? Keep reading for a complete breakdown. Mike is married to a woman named Jenna Hurst. She is originally from Monroeville, Ohio, and previously attended Sevier County High School in Tennessee. The duo reportedly got engaged all the way back in July of 2014. It seems as though Mike and Jenna remained engaged for quite a few years, as it wasn't until September 12, 2021, that they officially tied the knot. Despite the fact that Mike only recently officially tied the knot with Jenna, he has been a proud parent of 5 children for some years now. He hasn't always been the most transparent about every detail of his personal life, but through various posts on social media, a solid picture of what his home life is like can be pieced together. He has a daughter named Shelby, who accompanies him to moonshine jobs and seems pretty interested in the business overall. One of Mike's other children who has been mentioned on his social media is Maddie, who was born in March 2010. He also has another daughter named Haiti. The names of his other daughter and one son are unknown, despite appearing in various shots on his Facebook and Instagram. If you know Mike from Moonshiners, then odds are that you know his line of work often teeters on illegality. Moonshining without proper permits and certifications is a crime, meaning that Mike and the other stars of the show, distilling their own batches, have to navigate tricky legal situations to bring their alcoholic concoctions to fruition. Mike isn't always dealing with potentially precarious legal situations, however, as he also has a job working with a reputable and legal moonshine company called Tennessee Shine Company. They currently operate 4 locations within the state: Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, and Wears Valley. When he isn't busy making moonshine, Mike Cockrell is a proud family man. Mike Cockrell, a name that resonates in the tight-knit community of rural Appalachia, is known for his unassuming yet profound presence. To most, he is the man behind the barbed wire fences, tending to his family's land, and ensuring the old traditions remain alive. But those who know him best understand that, beneath the rugged exterior of a modern-day Appalachian moonshiner, lies the heart of a devoted family man. At 46, Mike has been a part of the Cockrell family legacy, which spans generations in the Appalachian foothills. His life is a delicate balance between an age-old craft and a commitment to his wife, children, and the family he holds dear. As a proud husband and father of 3, Mike's home life is as important to him as the work he does in the woods and his still house. The legacy of the Cockrell family. Mike was born and raised on a small plot of land in the hills of Kentucky, where his family had lived for over 150 years. His father, a stern yet loving man, was a moonshiner, following in the footsteps of his father before him. The Cockrells were known for their smooth, rich whiskey, which had been passed down through the generations like a well-kept secret. "Moonshine's been in my blood since I was knee-high," Mike often says, his voice heavy with the weight of family tradition. Back then, it wasn't about the money, it was about pride. It was something you worked on, something you perfected. My father taught me how to respect the craft. But, while the moonshine business had been a central part of Mike's life, it was never his only focus. In his youth, Mike was more than just the son of a moonshiner. He was the kid who could fix anything with his hands, the one who could pull an engine apart and put it back together, and the one who never shied away from hard work. But as he grew older, Mike realized that his love for the family trade didn't need to define him. Moonshining was a way of life, Mike explains, as he sits on his porch, looking over the rolling hills where he spent most of his childhood. But I always knew that when the time came, I'd want to build a life that was bigger than just the still. My family comes first, and that's something I take pride in every day. A love that runs deep. Mike met his wife, Sarah, in the town's local diner when they were in their early 20s. Sarah, a bright-eyed woman with a soft smile, was immediately drawn to Mike's quiet confidence. He wasn't the typical flashy guy that often caught the attention of young women in the small town. Instead, Mike had a steady presence that felt as reliable as Sarah recalls, her voice warm with affection. He had this calm, almost quiet confidence. And he had that thing where you just knew he would do anything for the people he loved. He still does. It wasn't long before Mike and Sarah were married, and soon after, they started a family. Their 3 children, Ellie, Jack, and Lily, became the center of Mike's world. He has always been present in their lives, even when the demands of moonshining would pull him away for days at a time. While some may see the moonshine business as a solitary pursuit, Mike sees it as a part of his larger responsibility to his family. I've always told my kids that this land is a gift, Mike says, looking out over the horizon. It's not about the shine, it's about what we do with it. I want them to remember what their great-grandfather built, but I also want them to know that they can take it to places I couldn't dream of. Mike's children have always been a source of pride for him. His daughter Ellie, a sharp and curious 16-year-old, has shown an interest in the family's history, asking her father questions about the moonshine recipes and the people who used to stop by their cabin in the woods. Jack, 13, is Mike's little shadow, always at his side when the chores need doing, and always eager to learn from his father. Then there's Lily, the youngest at 8, who has a heart as big as the mountains themselves and a laugh that echoes through their home. I don't know what I'd do without them, Mike says, his voice thick with emotion. Every day I come home, no matter how tired I am, seeing their faces reminds me of why I do what I do. The family business. While Mike's passion for moonshining remains, he has always been determined to make sure it doesn't come at the expense of his family. He knows the dangers of the moonshine trade. After all, his grandfather's generation didn't have the luxury of legalizing their craft. But Mike made sure that when he started making his own moonshine, it was on his own terms, away from the shadows and whispers of illegal distilling. The Cockrell family's moonshine is known for its smoothness and purity, a product of years of perfecting the recipe. But for Mike, the process is just as important as the end result. It's all about the quality, he says, and you can't rush it. You've got to let the mash settle, let it ferment right. The still. It's got to be in perfect condition. If I'm going to sell a jar of this stuff, it's got to be the best. But there's more to Mike's approach than just quality. He's also taken steps to ensure that his moonshine doesn't interfere with his family life. His distillery is located deep in the woods, far from the hustle and bustle of town. It's a quiet place, secluded enough that he can work in peace without worrying about distractions. And when he's finished, he returns home to his family, his workday over, ready to spend time with his loved ones. I've always said that the key to it all is balance, Mike reflects. You can't be a good husband or father if you're too caught up in your work. But you can't be good at your work if you don't care about it. The two go hand in hand. Pride in family. It's clear that Mike takes immense pride in his family. He talks about them constantly, and his face lights up whenever he mentions their accomplishments, from Ellie's growing interest in writing to Jack's achievements in the local baseball league. Every family dinner is an opportunity for Mike to remind his kids of the importance of hard work, integrity, and humility. We are a family that sticks together, Mike says, And that's how we get through the hard times. It's not about the money we make or the things we have. It's about each other. One of Mike's proudest moments came when his eldest daughter, Ellie, asked him to help her write a paper for school on the history of moonshining in Appalachia. She really wanted to understand the history of it, not just from a surface level, but the people behind it, Mike says, his eyes twinkling. It felt good, sharing that with her. She's not just interested in the moonshine itself, but the legacy that goes with it. The bond between Mike and his children is evident in the way they interact. His kids are not just extensions of his life. They're his partners in building a future. The Cockrells may be a family of moonshiners, but at the core, they are a family first. Looking toward the future years, Mike looks to the future. He dreams of expanding his business while staying true to his roots. He hopes to one day pass down the family's recipe to his children, ensuring that the Cockrell legacy continues for generations to come. But even more than that, Mike hopes his children will take the lessons of hard work, dedication, and family unity into whatever paths they choose to follow. I want them to know they can do anything, Mike says. And I want them to remember that no matter where life takes them, this land, this family will always